was clearly off because most lubes are like small and sleek and sexy, and this was...
Wait, hold on a second. What the fuck? You said something was clearly off because all lubes are small and sleek and sexy? How much you lubing up, brother? This guy hasn't had a dry day in his life, dude. You know typical lubes. Smart, sexy, sleek. This one, a bore.
Hello and welcome back to Comedy Means Business. I'm Mac Robar and my guest today is Jeff Arcuri, a New York-based stand-up who, in the span of a single year, moved between two deadline lists. A stand-up to keep an eye on in 2025 turns comic who won 2025. Arcuri has had one of the most remarkable rises of any stand-up in recent memory, going from headlining 200-seat rooms to selling out theaters across the globe. He started comedy in 2010 after a run-in with a stand-up at the Michigan cell phone store where he was working, and subsequently ground his way through Chicago, further honing his craft in New York on his way to becoming a Comedy Cellar regular. Now he's joined a prestigious shortlist of comics who have debuted their first ever special on Netflix with Nice to Meet You, an hour he taped at over 5 sold-out shows at the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix. The hour lands at the end of what Jeff will be the first to tell you was the hardest year of his life. His wife, Katie Thurston's breast cancer diagnosis, a wedding moved up to beat the start of treatment, and IVF amid it all. Here, Jeff and I talk about how he's been changed by a situation he couldn't have fathomed 2 years ago, and how he and Katie have navigated one unexpected hurdle after another together. We also discuss hecklers, learning to perform in the round, riding the wave of explosively expanding online fandom, and more. Jeff Arcuri, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, you've just, as of the release of this, you've just released your first Netflix special, which is also your first special ever, right? Yeah,
first one ever. Yeah.
How does that feel?
Great. It's awesome, dude. It's one of those things where I, it was getting to the point where it's, you do a joke so many times, it works, it does well, you can't tighten it up anymore, you can't remove any words, you just got to put it out, and I'm just excited to, be doing new stuff now and having that stuff done, It's
crazy to, it must be a small list of people who have their first special on Netflix. Like, how did that come about?
I was honestly waiting because the culture for the special has kind of changed. Where a special used to be how you got big. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case anymore. You can get big on your own, and the special is more or less proof that you can, back it up, or like, hey, I'd like to see more of his stuff. Where can I find it? Here it is. It's parked right here for this long. Mm-hmm. Go watch me and see if you want to come see me live, whatever. But it's not as necessary as it used to be. And I remember we got approached a lot, like my agent, manager and stuff, about like, hey, would you like to do it with so-and-so, Mm-hmm. And I just said, no, like, I don't need to right now. And a lot of the stuff I was getting offers for were when I was doing less meaningful material, I guess you could say, mm-hmm. where it was just, fun, but it was, I don't know. There's still a lot of jokes that I put in my special that weren't, serious or whatever, but it just wasn't, I didn't need to do a special, so I didn't really have a drive to do one besides, because and a joke is never done for a comedian. Mm-hmm. Even since the special, I taped it, and then I had to get back I went back on the road, and I started, going back to the Comedy Cellar and all the clubs. And if I was doing a 15-minute set and I can't use any of the old material, I was struggling at 10 minutes mm-hmm. because I was just like, all right, now that's all the good shit that I wrote in the past 2 months, but now I'm stuck with like this extra 5. So I was doing my old material just to like, hey, people paid money to be here. I need to at least, they haven't seen the material yet, so I can still kind of get away with doing it. Yeah. And I hated it. But the main reason I hated it was because I was writing tags. And I was improving the joke. And I'm like, I can't do this because it's going to be out. And then I'm going to watch it and be like, I wish I would have said this way, or I would have done this, Yeah. And so I'm glad. And I'm just, yeah. I'm happy it's coming out. But, yeah.
You're saying off mic something interesting, which is that you were hoping to just like avoid the release of the special. Like,
I thought we were going to keep that private.
Oh, sorry.
No,
is that okay?
I'm joking.
Well, no, that's interesting. I'm curious if that's common for comedians, or like I had never heard of that kind of approach before.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't common. I would truly be surprised to find a comedian that's like super excited to be a part of the promotion or a part of the reaction to the special. I would be surprised by that. I would think that you'd want to just be like, hey, I just kind of want to disappear. That's also my avoidance is my style. You know, that's my thing is if I'm like flustered by something, phone goes off and I start playing video games and I just shut it all off. And so that's my avoidant way of dealing with things is, hey, I'm going to put the special out. It's going to come out. There's going to be reactions to it, positive and negative. But every comic knows that when you scroll the comments, you're not scrolling to confirm that you are funny. You're scrolling to find the one comment that was like, meh. And you're like, why though? Like you look for that comment all the time. I know I do, at least. I find myself, but now I'm at least aware of it, where I'm scrolling and going, I'm looking for something bad. I'm going to stop right now and just not do it at all. You know?
Is there a possible anxiety, fear of success? Because I feel like you're going to just be like charting in the top 10 and then, maybe that's the thing too. It's like,
sure.
Sometimes you're like, I don't know. There's like a weird fear of like, what if it works?
Yeah. Of course. There's always the fear of that because I feel like everybody has their own version of imposter syndrome. And so the biggest worry, even with my growth, was pretty fast, was just that, is it as good as the reaction is getting? You know what I mean? And I love seeing comments that are like, I've been to 4 of your shows or I've been 5. Those are, dude, compliment like, hey, I love your crowd work or I love this one video. It means a lot. But the best compliment in the world is like, I've seen you 3 times this year, or I've seen you twice this year, or whatever it may be, more than once, is like, yes, like I gave a good show, like that's the most important thing in the world, is that each show is unique and fun and everyone can want to come to multiple shows. I go on tangents. I forgot what we even.
No, it's good. You make quite a statement with this special taping in the Round, the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix. Had you done the Round before?
Yeah. So I did the Round non-taped, just like I had my buddy record it, but 2 years ago, about 13, 14 months before I taped my special there, I did the Round, and I did 3/4. So there was still like a quarter of it was walled off behind me. And it was just the most magical, like, 2 shows I've had. And it was like, I did a bad run of show. I did like a Southwest run. So it was like Albuquerque and somewhere else. And it was just like, I was in rooms where it was like a conference hall or whatever. And I'm like, this sucks. It has to be kind of cascading down. Otherwise the person behind in the back, it's like an award show. It sucks. And so I was having bad shows. And then we did the Round, and me and the people that had opened for me were like, that was the most fun. And I called my agent after the first show and I said, if I ever tape a special, I want it to be here. And that came true, obviously, but I found that the 3/4 round is quite different than the full round. Yeah. And the first show we did, so we added shows just because why not? Like, we were selling well, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. And they're like, we can just use that as a pre-show warm-up and we won't tape it. And I go, tape it. We got to put it on camera because
did you tape 5?
I taped all 5.
Wow.
I was adamant that we taped all 5. It cost me an arm and a leg, but it was like, if I don't tape show 1, that's going to be the best show. If I don't tape show 5, that's going to be the best show. I know it's the way it works. So I said, tape it all. And excuse me. And the first show that I did, I was genuinely getting lost. And it happens in the special because the show we ended up using was Friday early, but Thursday.
Oh, so you use that as your base and maybe
90% of the show was Friday early. I think we stole a crowd interaction from Saturday. But that's it. Everything else, I even asked. I'm like, no, it's mostly just this one show. Because I remember walking off and crying and just being like, wow, that was so fun. Yeah. Did it? And they're like, we got it. It was it. And I'm like, hell yeah. And then the rest of the weekend, I was just like exhausted from just like, you build up all this anxiety. And then when it's done, you kind of like deflate. But I found that the Thursday show, I was struggling to figure out where I was, so I'd interact with the crowd. Like,
it's so weird.
Weird.
You do that in the special where you like turn, because you're like, wait, how do I direct myself?
So that happened Thursday. So you saw the special? Yeah, I didn't know. So you saw it a couple times, like, where am I? I'm lost. It worked that time because I was comfortable with it at that point. Thursday, the same thing happened, but there wasn't the funny undertone. It was just me going, genuinely, where are you? Like, I was looking for the guy. And so we came up with a solution. The producer, the producers, Jordan Levy and Matt Schuler. They were like, we have an idea, and I think it was Schuler's idea, which is where they marked the stool like a clock, just like a midnight. Like they just gave me a 12 o'clock on the stool, so that when I did crowd interaction, I would glance at the stool and be like, that's a 3 o'clock. And then so whenever I went back, I'd be like, where's Jim? He's at 3. And I'd be like, you know what I mean, Jim? And I could point to him.
Yeah. So that seems so complicated, especially with these like when you're doing callbacks within crowd work, within the round.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa.
And that's the thing is, dude, like every now and then I'm like, okay, yeah, I have done this long enough to get this where it can come a little easier to me than maybe somebody else, where I've told somebody else that they're like, how are you able to do that? And I'm like, I think it just comes with doing this for so long that you learn to, like what Jeff Foxworthy said, sometimes you're in the middle of a joke thinking about the next joke. Mm-hmm. You're rewriting your set like he did on Late Night, where he changed one of his jokes because he knew this one would do better, and he was rewriting on the fly. Like that's just stuff that comes with doing the 10,000 hours, you know, I think. It's
always interesting to me, going back to something you said earlier, that comedians are so specific about what the room they like, but it is true. So like what kind of venues do you really not like, and what do you most like other than this kind of specific round format? So I was always a fan of the smaller rooms, just because that was the thing I was pushing with my agent and stuff. I was like, I want smaller, not bigger. And they're like, that's not the way this works. Is that, you know, you can kill yourself by doing 18 shows a week, or you can do 2 shows calmly and be rested for them and just have more people at them. So I've found a middle ground now where I enjoy the bigger venues, as long as there's no bad seats. My biggest thing, anytime I've gone into like the bigger rooms I've done, like NJ Pack or whatever, where there's thousands of people, I look at the back row on the top and I go, I want to make sure it doesn't suck for that guy or that woman up there. Yeah. And so it's hard not to do that, you know, but it's also like if I do just small rooms, then I get complaints that why don't you do another show? Or whatever. Right. I'm like, because I'm doing 7 this weekend or whatever it may be. And so it's like a weird middle ground of like appeasing everybody in every way. But bottom line is like my favorite, most comfortable room would be like the Village Underground at the Comedy Cellar, or the original Comedy Cellar room. Yeah. Because that's where I've spent the most amount of hours performing and the most comfortable and all that. And so that was not a big mistake, but it was an adjustment. Yeah. Was the round. And to the point where even after the taping, I was like, I don't know if we can, you know, I like this. I don't know if this was me. This is something that I've done. I've only performed here twice, and then I take the special here. Like I was freaking out and spiraling that like maybe I should not have done the round. Maybe I need to reshoot somewhere that I'm more comfortable, whatever. And I was like just kind of freaking out. And I don't think I would do the round again right away. I mean, it was there was no problem with it. It was thanks. It works. I appreciate that. I think that's my first review for my special is there's no problem with it. I mean, what would be the problem? I mean, yeah. You know, like, to be honest with you, is the fact that you can see people behind me. Yeah. While I'm performing. And those are usually the weakest responses because they're not seeing my face. They're not seeing the way I deliver the joke. Okay. So I'm talking, I give you a punchline, and you see someone in the back go, and it's so disheartening. I feel only you're noticing that though. I mean, of course. We don't look at the crowd and see, just like the comments, you don't look at the crowd and see everyone laughing. You look at the one guy going like that, and then you go, what's your problem? Yeah, so I mean, I even there was one point where no one noticed it. Nobody, not even my wife who watched it a dozen times, where I go, we have to cut this shot to some other shot. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because there's a woman in the background. And I'm in the middle of like, I think it's when I'm talking about my wife's health and all that stuff, where she's in the background, she goes, like that, and I go, oh, and they go, we didn't even notice that. I go, take it out. And there was another one where I was leaving the stage after saying thank you to everyone, and some woman like goes to hand me a gift, and I go like that, and I just didn't notice it at the time, but it looks like I just turned her gift away, and I'm like, I noticed it. We need to take this out. It looks like I'm like someone's yawning, someone I'm like ignoring over there. But yeah, that's the thing is like that's not it's atypical. Is that venue for comedy, and a lot of the other comedians that we know that have done the specials there, like Segura or Carlin or whoever, their audiences are pretty dark. Like they're in the dark a bit more. Oh, you kept it up. Yeah, I wanted it up so I could interact with the crowd. Right, I didn't want to do this during a special. I didn't want to do sense. You know. And then we were adamant about the I could not be happier with the producers. Yeah, especially
once you finish, you then I was like confident in it that I'm like, I'm gonna go watch other specials. It's hard for comics usually to watch specials, in my opinion, at least for me and the friends I've talked to.
Yeah, of course.
And so I was like, let me just see, and I'm like, they killed it, dude. Like,
did you seek out advice from anybody about going into the taping, and
with the round specifically, or with
anything like just,
Jordan Jensen is a friend of mine. I reached out to her about stuff. Because we also had the same producers, so it was nice to like have her, and she just said the same thing I would say to the next person, which is they're awesome, trust them. But a lot of it was like the emotional part of it, of the special, that people don't talk about, is like there's an emotional dump that occurs afterwards. Okay. Where you've spent so long building this moment up, and then it's done, but there's no proof for 6 months. Wow. So there's this 2 months where I'm resetting, but it looks like I've just given up, and now I'm resetting. So it was this, like, I don't know what it was, but I started therapy because of it, where I was just like, without a doubt, depressed. And I'm like, why? I just taped a special. I love my wife. She's doing well. Everything's going really well for me right now. Why
can't
I get what?
Could not be going better.
But I couldn't get out of bed. I just couldn't for the days after the special. I just was so depressed, and I couldn't figure out why, despite it being, January in New York City, mixed with me going to the cellar and bombing with new material. I just felt like I was starting over again, and no one liked me. It was a whole big thing. And then it was like validation from other comics going, yeah, that's what happens. And going, oh, okay, thank God.
That's so interesting. No one has brought that up.
Shit, maybe it's just...
No, it's got to be...
Everyone goes through it, and you're like, this is the first time I've ever...
No, it makes a lot of sense. It's just, I can't... Even after one show, I can't imagine the emotion coming up. The discharge after that, trying to come down from...
It's nuts, man.
On any given night.
Yeah. I mean, I cried after I taped it. We got my first one in. I couldn't even hold it in. I was like, it felt so like good to get rid of this worry of like, what if I don't tape a good special,
You also deal with like some really heavy stuff in this special. Like you've gone through a lot of life in a year or two with your wife, Katie Thurston's, it was breast cancer?
Yeah. Back in February, she was diagnosed with stage 4.
Just seems like it's been a huge ordeal. So do you want to talk about how you navigated that? Like first, just like, I don't know how you even first grapple with that, but like, when was the first time you talked about it? How did you figure out,
I'm still learning to talk about it. It's a tough thing because I feel like I have a perspective being somebody who like is in love with and is married to somebody who's going through this, but I also feel like I have to kind of walk delicately because I'm not experiencing cancer. Sure. I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there are women or there are people out in the world that if I go up there and be like, here's what it's like, they're like, you don't fucking know. I'm just adjacent to the person. So that's my perspective that I clearly kind of state in the special is I'm not here to tell you what it's like to have cancer, but it was definitively the hardest year of my life. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, my most difficult year of my life. The year started off very hopeful. The plan was I had booked a European tour and an Australian tour. The plan was we go to Hawaii in February, meet with my family, me and her have fun in Hawaii. I do a show there. And then from Hawaii, we fly directly to Australia for 2 months. And then we go to Tokyo for a week. Wow. Then we come home for a month. And then I go to Europe. We go to Europe together for 3 months. And we just live. Plans. Yeah. So she got rid of her apartment, sold it. She didn't own it. Got rid of her apartment. I got rid of my apartment. We went to Hawaii. She got diagnosed. I called my agent. I said, figure this out, but I'm not leaving her. I'm not going to go to Australia tomorrow without my wife. So we rescheduled Australia, which was a big upset for a lot of people, but then they found out why. And then like, okay.
Is it chaos? Obviously you have people helping to wrangle that, but like, is it kind of chaos after you have to totally reconfigure your schedule and everything?
Yeah. I will say this. Personally, there's a lot of chaos. Internally, there's a lot of chaos.
Sure.
But my team, my agent and my manager are so good at getting things done without me having to.
Sadakian, right?
Matt Sadakian and Kat Valentine. Yeah, is he?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just texting him before this. They're very good at they know me, which is where I just tell me where to go. Tell me where to go and I'll show up and do the thing. But if you're going to be like, you know, and then like if they didn't book this hotel or send me an itinerary of what time to be here, I'd probably still be in New York going, fuck, that was today. Like, I'm really bad at that. So they're really good at handling all my crises without me knowing that they're handling it. So they took care of Australia and said, don't worry about a thing. And he'll deal with the fallout, all that stuff. And they did, and it was great. But then it was just like from there, it was just spinning plates, man, because we rescheduled for Australia, but we had to start treatment with her and in LA, and then they misdiagnosed her with a different type of cancer that would have hurt her if she did the treatment they would have done. We moved to New York. We didn't have an apartment, so we had to like find an apartment over the phone in Hawaii, and I was like, just lock it in.
Wow.
Lock in this apartment. We walked into this apartment with no furniture, us sitting on the rug, because and let me rewind a little bit. When she was misdiagnosed, she was told she has a type of cancer that's much more aggressive than it currently is. Mm-hmm. It's still stage 4, but they misdiagnosed it as HER2 positive cancer, which would have needed chemotherapy right away. Like within a week, start chemotherapy. So we were upset by this, and we get back to her friend's apartment that we were staying at, and we were engaged at the time. And I'm like, you're not going through chemo engaged. Let's just get married. So we agreed to get married in like 3 weeks in an empty apartment. My agent married us in front of my parents and her parents.
Wow.
In the apartment, just empty apartment. And it's my favorite memory.
It's kind of beautiful.
It really, honestly, at the time seemed like, all right, this is temporary. But now I look back and I'm like, that was the fucking best day, dude. Because it was just like, that was the only sure thing I had in my life in the moment, was loving her. Without a doubt. Like everything else was so chaotic, but that was the sure thing. I'm going to cry.
That's all right.
Just joking.
We're here for it.
But yeah, it was so much, and then what happened after was like so hard, because I had to then go to Europe for 3 months while my wife is doing treatment. Mm-hmm. I then had to go to Australia for 2 months and Tokyo without her, and she met me in Barcelona between treatments. She met me in Italy, and we made the best of it. But when the person you love the most is going through the hardest thing in their life, and you're thousands of miles away, and on a completely different opposite schedule. So she's going to bed crying because of how difficult her day was that I wasn't there for her. And I'm starting my day and having to perform shows that night. And it was...
So there's just no way to push like the Europe stuff?
Well, that's the thing too, is that if I canceled, let's say I said, hey, TBD, new dates, I don't have money. Like, that's all my income is coming from performing. And now I told my wife to take a break from her income so that she could work on her treatment. And the primary thing is people bought tickets. They want to come see me. You know, I want to honor that. I want to still come out and do the shows. And we had booked so much. It would have cost me, it would have been such a deficit to not go. Like, I would have lost a lot of money to not go and upset a lot of people. And she was adamant that I do go. And I had her blessing. But now in retrospect, it was, I hated every second that I wasn't on stage in Europe. Mm-hmm. Because what am I supposed to do in Amsterdam? Have fun with my wife going through, you know what I mean?
There's nothing more isolating than being alone abroad while dealing with emotional stuff like that. It's like, whoa. It was definitely the hardest year of my life. And that's what was so odd about the special, was that all of that was, like, I would say a good half of the special, that the written material is from that year. Mm-hmm. Was from December to December of 2025. Mm-hmm. And because and all those jokes were written in live. Like, we were going through IVF. I wrote in May or April, May, and then it was on the special in December. Mm. Like, all that stuff was added. And so it's funny that now I'm going back and doing my material. I'm like new material. I'm like, I can go back to the material from 5 years ago because it wasn't even, but then I'm doing the material. I'm like, this sucks. You know? To go back and forth between the personal and the craft, I'm just curious, like, how you sequence your act and like how you balanced. How does that work for you? Because crowd work is a big component of what you do, but like, you got the written stuff. So like, how does that work, and how did you kind of craft this? hour.
The dipping in between is just I never compartmentalize. I never like to compartmentalize my crowd work into, hey, the first 10 minutes I'll talk to you guys, and I don't want to do it like, okay, now that the stand-up comedy is over, guys, we're gonna do some crowd work comedy. Like, I don't like to separate it.
Yeah.
I like to make it feel like I'm a person on stage having a conversation with 2,000 people, and you guys are part of the conversation, but don't talk unless I talk to you, please. And that's the way it kind of flows. Is that I'll go into a bit. It's such an easy formula, in my opinion, that I don't know why other people don't do it. Where if you have a topic, let's say, the thing me and my wife accidentally recorded ourselves having sex. Has anybody ever accidentally taped or recorded something with a camera? Is a fun entrance to that. We're like, yeah, I got caught doing this, and then I talk to them for a minute, and I go, okay, that's so funny, but this is what happened to me. Now I have my parachute, I have my exit strategy, so that if I do go into the crowd and nothing is funny, I go, well, here's why I brought it up. Yeah. And I have a way of ending this conversation with a funny story. Yeah. That's all it is just going in and out. I feel like that's the only way to make crowd work seem seamless, is if you can go in, pull back out, and the funny still maintains. You're not like...
But how did it take a long time to figure out that craft? To just...
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to freewheel and move between your acts. That just seems tricky.
I'll tell you what the catalyst for it was doing cruise ships, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was doing cruise ships for a couple of years, right before I got into the cellar. And then that's when I got into the cellar. I'm like, I'm done with cruises. Even if I'm broke, I'd rather die broke at the cellar than live rich on a cruise ship. And I was doing cruises where they basically paid you to do 3 different half hours.
What's bad about cruise ships? That sounds fun to me.
Dude, I'll be honest, I had so much fun. And there are so many comics, not so many. There are comics that will make fun of cruise ship. Like, sure. Oh, that's not real comedy. Those aren't real people. Brother, do you think the guy in Omaha that saw you at the Funny Bone has never been on a cruise? Yes. These are normal. These are the most normal people. These are people that want to go on an affordable vacation. That's the people buying your friggin' tickets, not somebody in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. So yes, you're not going to get your snaps during your set, but you're going to get people who are real people coming to see you perform and are going to laugh at things that only make them laugh. You know? And so I genuinely found love for the audiences on the cruise ship. Sure, there were rowdy people, this and that, but I was told to do 3 30-minute sets, 2 dirty, 1 clean. And then...
Interesting.
Yeah. And then I was doing them, but I was having fun and doing well enough that people would come back to see that same 30-minute clean show again. And so I'd be doing a clean show, it'd kill. The next day, I'd be doing the same show at the same time, and I'd see the same front row. Mm-hmm. And it would destroy me because now I'm watching people listen to the jokes for the second time. Mm-hmm. And so I decided that's when I cut all my sets in half and incorporated crowd work. Like, I was writing a lot too, but I was like, all right, instead of 1 30-minute clean show, I'm going to have 2 15-minute clean shows with crowd work in between each joke of like, let's see what you guys have to say about this. Mm-hmm. And then I was able to kind of extend my sets a little bit more that way. Mm-hmm. And then the beauty of it really came was when I stopped doing that and I turned 5 half hours into 1 45, where I really tightened it all up, where I only did the crowd work that usually yielded something good. I only did the material that always had a big punch at the end. Like I learned to craft on the ships, and I feel like that's any comedian. You put, if you are only doing dive bar open mics, you can still get better. It's just a matter of,
You played a lot of like colleges early, right? And then
did a handful.
And so was it true that you had like unconventional venues, like a power plant or something? Or
I did do that. Yeah.
Oh, that's true?
I did. I was working for a credit union in Chicago, and their business development exec kind of left the company unexpected right before he was about to go on a promotional, like a thing where you walk in and they'll have like a meeting where they have a donation for wounded warriors. Then they also have like a tent for the credit union that's, part of that company. And they would usually let us speak for a few minutes. So the CEO and the VP kind of like had this idea. They're like, we know you do comedy. And we had this guy leave and you're on sales already. Would you be interested in doing comedy at these venues and then selling the products? And I was like, what is that? And they go, it's time and a half. You don't have to come into the office. You just go there, do that, come home, and you get paid time and a half. I go, yes, I'll do this every day. And so I did it for weeks. And it was so fun, dude. It was really cool. Just getting up at like 5 a.m. to drive 3 hours. I loved it because I was podcast the whole way. And then I'd perform. I'd have to go into a power plant. And that's what scared the shit out of me, because there's like 2 hours of security you have to go through. There's 100 yards of these like 8x8 cement blocks that you have to walk through, and that's to prevent someone charging in with a car into the power plant. Then you have to. Then I would stand in front of like 500 engineers at 7 a.m. and be like, so my mom's pretty kooky, you know. Like, I was bombing hard, and then I switched to doing darker material. And I'd get like a chuckle, like, because these are all just men in their 50s who are 12 on, 12 off, you know, hours or whatever. And so I was like just doing jokes, and then I'd be like I remember one of the jokes was, I want to get a tattoo on my arm with my dad's name, and then underneath it 1956-2018, just to see the look on his face, and like that would whatever. And then I'd have to be like, and then on a serious note, our mortgage rates are at an all-time low. Like, having to switch to pitching products, like financial products afterwards, was rough. But I was like, I'll do it any way I can, dude. This is still getting paid for comedy, whatever. You know?
You had an interesting origin story. You're from Michigan, right? That's where
I was born in New York.
Oh, you're from New York.
Yeah. Okay. Born in New York till I was like 15, and then Michigan till like where my mom's family's from till I was like 22.
Okay.
And then Chicago, then New York. Yeah.
So you got into it after meeting someone at a cell phone store you're working at?
Yeah, I forgot about that. That is true.
And then you took a class.
I did.
Do you believe in classes? It's interesting. Like Otsko Okatska also told me, like, I didn't know so many people like came out of classes. Would you recommend that for somebody like starting out?
Yeah. I would recommend a class in the same way I'd recommend like a workshop group. You get to meet other people that want to be funny, fledgling. So you're all, you know, in the same marathon at the same time. You learn the basics of it. No one takes a 6-week comedy class and walks away, oh, I'm a pretty good comedian. You walk away going, all right, here are the tools I need to become a good comedian. So you can't look at people that say like, oh, don't take comedy class, it's a scam. All right, man, sure. If you're looking at the comedy class as a way to learn to be funny, that is a scam. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Any comedy class that tells you we'll make you funny in 6 weeks is lying to you. But you learn to move the mic stand behind you. I'm still friends with people from my comedy class. I still talk to them and say what's up. And I love that. Like, yeah, you learn the basics of it. And that's when I learned, hey, here's what this open mic is. Oh, cool. I'll meet you there. And then now I met a friend who I'm still friends with here in New York and moved here. We moved to Chicago together, all at that open mic. And I wouldn't have known that if I went to the class. Like, it's just about being open and friendly and meeting other comics. So yes, take a class, learn where the open mics are. If you have no other point of entry, start there. Why not? That's a good way to pull the trigger, is if you have to be at this place at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Were you someone who always envisioned being a stand-up, or did you like,
no.
I didn't, you stumbled into it?
I just loved it. I just always loved it. I would watch Adam Ferraro with my mom and then Louis C.K. with my dad. And that was how we bonded, was watching clean comedy with my mom and just her dying laughing, and then watching my dad go, oh shit, to like Louis' jokes. And it just made me like fall in love with it. And then also, I think watching the girls I liked watch Dane Cook was a big like when he had I think Vicious Circle or Humble to Swallow, whatever it was, when he was like the college comic, was when I was in like the college years. And I remember like watching him and just being obsessed with how he made the mundane so funny for our age group. And I was like, look, comedy is not all 50-year-old men. It sometimes can be somebody who's got a new perspective, and I always just loved it. But just like any comedy fan, you love it from a distance. You love it and go, I could never, but I respect what you guys do. And then it was the comedy class that gave me the confidence, believe it or not.
Well, as someone who seems like is open about dealing with like anxiety and depression, or like is affected emotionally by your craft, like how did you deal with the early days when you're inevitably going to be eating shit a lot, right?
Blind confidence.
Yeah.
I I remember walking away from a comedy competition my teacher called me, the comedy class teacher, Bill Bouchard, great guy, great comic. And he called me and said, hey man, I know it's only 3 weeks into the 6-week class. We had a fallout on Tuesday. It was Saturday. We had a fallout on Tuesday for a comedy competition in Michigan. Would you want to jump in and do it? I saw you had some pretty solid, audition stuff at the class. I go, absolutely, I'd love to do it. And I still remember where I was because I ran to a Starbucks and started writing. And I was doing jokes about Mario Lopez. I was just like, oh, this is funny. And then I'll turn to the audience and do this. And like, I was writing and it was so fun. And then I remember doing the comedy, the competition, not placing at all, being upset that I didn't, like, what the hell? That was good, dude. And then a guy taped it there. It was, you want your tape? And I was showing, like, look at this. I'm doing stand-up comedy. And then took me years to get that taken down. My first ever comedy set. But I was so bad. It was so bad, but that's what a comedy is you think you're good, and then you have to wait 3 months, look back, and you have to be like, I was shit. You have to look, the second you look back and go, damn, I was funny 2 years ago, when you're in trouble right now. You need to look back and still be growing.
Did you have day jobs like early on? Like you were going through Chicago, through New York? What were you doing?
I was in Michigan. I was selling cell phones, sold a cell phone to a comedian. He taught me how to get into it. Moved to Chicago, got a job at the credit union, like just with a sales position at a bank.
Oh, right.
And then I quit that, was walking dogs in Chicago. And then I was making like road money with colleges and stuff. But even then I look back and I was like, I quit my job with confidence because I got like 2 $1,800 gigs. And I was like, I think I'm good. And then I was just every gig. I remember just doing like Texas Women's University. And I remember like that was like $3,500 and it was coming in like 4 months. And I'm like, I just need to spend less than $3,500 over the next 4 months and I'll be fine. And I'll get that money back. And I remember living that way thinking, I'm doing it, man. I'm a full-time comedian. And I was one broken ankle away from bankruptcy. I was one sprained finger, the whole time. But I was always willing to work. Like when I was in Chicago, I was making money on living off of comedy, doing comedy clubs and whatever else. And then when I moved to New York, I had to reset. So I got a job at a dog daycare. And I had an offer for a financial sales position that was going to pay almost 6 figures a year. But they're like, you have to work till 8 every night. And I was like, I can't do that. I do comedy. And they go, that's the only way you can do it. So then I was walking home kind of deflated, thinking I'm going to have to accept this job if I want to move here. And I walked past the dog daycare and I walked in and I was like, you guys hiring? And I remember calling my mom after the first interview and saying like, well, I have to kind of bite the bullet, but I'll be making almost, $88,000 a year. And my mom was so happy. She's like, finally, security, And then I called her back and I go, I actually turned down that job and I got a job making $1,650 as a dog watcher in a dog playpen. And she goes, what, are you messing with me? Why would you do that? And I'm like, because I can be out of here by 3 p.m. every day. Yeah. And I worked there for almost 2 years and it was living hell. But then I met a woman with a golden retriever that allowed me to quit that job and make just enough to survive living in a flop house. And it was never... If you made me go back to that tomorrow, I'd be fine, because the bottom line, I just need video games and comedy, and then I'm a happy guy. And my wife and my dog that I love very much. But like, I'm a pretty basic guy.
How long were you grinding before you got like people behind you, like representation?
So I got past this Comedy Cellar, and that was validation for me in a way that...
What year? 2022. Oh, really?
March 2022, I got passed, and then I started posting in August 2022. I had no social media before that. Like,
wow.
I had Instagram with like 3,000 followers, but then in August 2022, I got the confidence in that 6 months to go, not only am I getting spots, I'm getting more spots than I was when I started. And I'm getting, all these audiences are laughing. I'm getting compliments from comics I respect. I think I'm good at this. And it took me until being at the Cellar for 6 months with 10 spots a week to be like, I can post online. Yeah. And then I started asking for my tapes delicately. Is it okay? And then I finally like put a clip up because a lady's purse just fell open onto the stage. And I piece by piece put it back in and talked about each piece. And I was like, this is funny, and I learned how to edit on Adobe. I still do that. And the rest was kind of history, where
That's
I just
insane.
started posting blindly. And then,
Really? You're literally by yourself? No social media person or anything?
I don't have anybody running any of my social media.
How do you do that in 4 years to the point where you're at?
It's been 4 years. Damn.
That's super fast to just be going, because you were going from like 200 seat clubs or something to like theaters all over the world. That's wild.
Yeah,
like,
it was.
What was the social media explosion? How did that feel? What was that experience like?
It was pretty surreal. It was pretty nuts, but it was also like once again, spinning plates, where I'm like, wow, look at all this. But then now I have to keep it up in the air. You know what I mean? Like, it was exciting, but I didn't have time to go, wow, look at what I'm doing. Look what I've done. I'm just going, I don't want to fuck this up. I don't want to lose this. So the bottom line was, I decided I'm going to post. I'm going to start being on social media as a comedian. So I wrote out a business plan for myself, where I was like, I'm going to create all these social media accounts. So I created my TikTok, I created my YouTube, I created my Instagram, my Facebook, all that stuff. And then I was like, well, then where do I post and to what? Do I post clean stuff to Facebook because it's an older audience? No, I'm going to go consistency, just consistency. So on all my profiles, I put new clips every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, MWF, to give somebody a reason to follow me. Because if I just see one clip of a guy and then I don't see he hasn't posted in 2 weeks, I'm like, I don't know, I'll see him when I see him. So I decided to post that on all my social media, just consistency. And I still do that, where I just post the same caption with the same hashtags, the same photo, the same video to every social media. Just blindly throw it out there as like, this is my product. I'm not going to do the, she said what? In the captions. Like, I'm not going to pretend like it's me typing it out. It is me typing out the caption and the hashtags, but I didn't want it to be like every 3 days.
Studio doing reaction shots, like.
Oh yeah, like YouTube thumbnail stuff. Yeah. No, I couldn't do that. I decided that's why I'm like, I'm just gonna go. If the guy's talking about snakes, I'm gonna title the video "Snakes." I'm not gonna be like, oh, this guy's quite the slitherer or something. I'm not gonna do that because I can't write a joke every other day for my jokes that I already performed. Come on, But then that was it, man. It was the consistency. And learning to edit myself was huge, because nobody's going to give you a shit as much as yourself. And the people that I had trying to edit my clips, they'd be like sending them back like, is this good enough? And I'm like, that's not what you should be asking me. It should be like, it should be better than it could ever be. I don't know. Like, if I'm paying somebody to do it. So I decided I'm just going to do it myself. Yeah.
So how have you rode this wave, like I said, from to going to theaters? Like, that's a big transition. It feels like something you have to think about, right? Because it's like it's a strategy thing. It's like, do you want to stay in, like you said earlier, like, do you want to do like 7 shows at clubs, or do you want to do 1 theater show? Theaters come with bigger overhead. And just like, what is the experience to transition?
So I'll always prefer an intimate venue, especially for what I do, which is conversational and interactive. It just makes more sense in a smaller venue. But I know you need to graduate to a degree, and I did struggle with it in the beginning. My first ever theater was the Wilbur Theater, which is an awesome starting theater, because it's 1,000 people, which is on I would say a slightly below average count for a theater. I think it's like 980 or something like that. Yeah. It has a mezzanine that's close, and then the whole entire bottom area is tables, like a comedy club. So you still get the intimate feeling, but you have the laughs of a theater. It was such a perfect start for me that it kind of ruined a lot of theaters for me, in that where if I walk into a venue and I go, this is beautiful, but this is beautiful for Phil Collins, like, that's who should be here right now, not me, Yeah. And so I struggled with that identity for a little bit, is being able to be somebody that can do that. And I'm not gonna lie, I've had bad theater shows where I'm like, I felt like it was not what I would have wanted in terms of intimacy, or
is it difficult? Is it a whole different thing to do crowd work, for example, yeah. I like I said earlier, always wanted to make it feel like everybody is at the same show equally. The guy in the back had the same show as the guy in the front. That's create a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. Even in comedy clubs, the guy in the back is not going to have a higher chance of talking to you than the guy in the front. It's lower. So I found I was struggling with hearing people in theaters, because I'd be like, has anybody ever done this? And then I'd hear some guy
400 feet away. I go, yeah. And then I'm trying to talk to him, and he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, one more time, man, please, one more time. And I found that watching tape back, I was like, that's where most of my dead air is not hearing them, whatever it is. So I've now come up with a better version of that, where we either have screens with the camera pointing to the person for me to help me, or what I like to do now is have the front 12 rows a little bit lit up, and I perform my interactive part of my show to the wings and to these people with the sense of like, yeah, if you're all the way in the back, I'm not going to be able to like talk to you, but you're going to experience the crowd work live with these people in the front. And it cut down a lot of dead air, cut down a lot of like mishearing, or, you know, somebody yells something out and they're usually, not usually, but they can be drunk. And now I'm trying to talk to a drunk person.
You begin with this special with a heckler, which is like awesome.
Which I think was from Thursday's show. But that story's kind of crazy. That guy, like, it was right in the beginning of my set, and I was doing my jokes, and he just goes, "Gotta give it to her." Talking about my wife. "Go give it to her." Whatever he says. And I go, what? And I was mad. If you watch that clip, this is my favorite part of this, is that I shut him down, you know, and they sent me the clip. My producer, Jordan Levy, sent me the clip as the special. Like, here's the special with the intro that we have. They took that intro out because my manager, Angel, were like, he was mad and he probably isn't going to like this. He doesn't want to look like he's being angry at somebody. Sure. And so they took it out without me knowing. And they sent me a new one, and it sucked. Like, the intro was just like lame and safe. And I was like, I don't know, I hate this special. I don't know why. The beginning kind of sucks. And then Jordan Levy, and I respect the hell out of him, sent me an email privately with a full, please include this original cut.
Interesting.
And it was a like, I don't know what you call it, but it was like a formal request, like in an email, like a cry for help of like, please consider this. I watched it. I was like, I'm not that mean. For something, yeah, I could say, oh, you could die tomorrow, I don't care. I'm obviously joking. You know what I mean? Like, but they were hesitant to show me it for that reason. And then I watched it, and then I had a couple of people look at it, and they go, yeah, of all the intros, this is the best one. It's catching, it's all that stuff.
Punchy, yeah. And
it kind of shows, that's how it happened. The show was great after that. Was me going, the rest of you guys, I can't wait to start. And it started great. But little did I know, I did turn away from him from that moment, that my tour manager at the time, like a hawk, was right behind him on the stairs when he heckled, because she knew he was gonna be a problem. And then the second I go, you can die tomorrow, whatever, they had to cut audio. He was like chokeholded out of that venue because he thought I said I was gonna kill his wife. What? He was so wasted. He thought when I said you could die tomorrow and I won't care, he's like, he's gonna kill my wife. He was screaming this. They had to like pull him and rip him out of the venue. And the whole time I'm facing the other way going, so who's from this area? Like, I'm like having fun with the audience, not knowing. That's how good my tour manager was, that she was able to like rip him out without me knowing about it. And so if you're out there, fella, you could die tomorrow and I wouldn't care. No, I feel bad that you had a bad experience, but, you know, have a few less White Claws before a live show.
Does that happen a lot?
No. I would say it happens less the more we do it, the more we prep the audience, and the more I maintain control of a show. I give less room for error nowadays. Like, I've kind of gotten better at dealing with people by the thousand, as opposed to, if it's a club and someone heckles, I can be like, Mike with the red hat, get out of here, or whatever color hat.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. I can see you. You're a person. I'm a person. In a theater, you can be like, ah, and then duck into your seat. No one knows who the hell was that, you know?
Yeah.
So I've found a way of like, I don't think I get those people anymore. I think there was a big craze of that for a while where people wanted to be the show. And I was struggling with that for a minute.
When crowd work became such a big like cultural sensation in the last few years, it's like, I've talked to Matt Rife about that. It's like, oh, now everyone feels it's an invitation to, this is what the show is. And,
they can feel that way, but that's usually going to be a shitty person regardless.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that thinks that they're like, I should be the one to talk. I've joked around with other comics before where I say, usually the person that usually wants the attention is the one you want to give to the least. I want to talk to the guy that's like just there with his wife, because he's going to be like, I've done, you know, he's going to be honest. He's not going to try and be funny. Those are the worst, dude. When people try and be funny with, because now I gotta repeat what you said, and if it sucks, it looks like I'm saying that joke, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you know, two guys in there. Hey, you guys here together? You guys friends? No, this is my lover. And you go, oh, you know what I do is I don't give into the joke. I go, that's awesome, man. How long you guys been together? And they go, you know, and I'm like, that's great. When did you know you loved him, dude? You know, like I'll go into it, be like, oh, now he has to be like, no, I'm not gay. I'm like, then why did you lie to us all right then? Oh, because being gay is that funny? And now they're like stuck.
Yeah.
And it's fun to do that with people, you know, because now they're like, oh, I should have just answered honestly. I always try and say that to the audience. If you answer honestly, people are so much funnier than they realize.
Yeah.
If you're just honest and open and talking, and then I'll make it funny. I promise. That's not up to you. I'll turn it into something. I'll have a bit about it or something.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
I'm curious about touring just on a logistical level. Is that something you learn over time how to deal with better? Like travel hacks and things like that? Like,
sure.
Has it been a process and an evolution?
Yes. It used to be exciting. Much more exciting. Like, you know, I got upgraded to first class. Take a picture of my feet in the fucking first class lounge, you know? Now I'm just like, my thing is I decided last year when I went to Europe, I'm no longer skimping. I'd just be like, give me 4 walls and a bed, you know? And now I'm like, I need a desk and room service. You know, like I need certain things because I'm like, this is where my office is, you know? Like,
yeah.
I'm constantly in hotel rooms. So if I'm not spending...
Are you writing at the desk?
Yeah, I'm writing and editing my videos. I'll take the video from the show and then I'll go through it and edit the video that night.
Do you still do it yourself?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a cry for help into the camera. I'm looking for somebody, but I'm such a particular bitch, dude, that like I fear the person that works for me full time on editing my videos because I'm gonna be like, nope, 0.5 seconds earlier on this moment right here.
Yeah.
I've tried several times where they've sent me and then I send it back and I go, no, cut this, add this. Because what I want is somebody that does it the way I do it without having the training to do it. I just want someone to do it the way I do it right away.
Let me see. What you talk about regret Tourette's in the special?
Dude, that was not part of my set.
Okay.
That was like an old joke that I just in the moment it came out of me and I forgot about that. It was the only show I did that joke on.
Okay.
And we kept it in because it ended up working really well, but it was like a failed joke because it's a little offensive.
Is there something like that with stand-up? Like, do you have one regret, or is there a business failure or something you've learned from that didn't quite go as planned?
Yeah, yeah. Specific. Are you saying like just in general? Give me like okay. So you're saying is there something I regret in terms of my like?
I don't know if there's any decision you've made in trying to build your career like that.
Okay, but career wise,
yeah.
I'm gonna start again, but I tried streaming video games at the beginning, but then I found that if I can't have a break, like the only break I have is
you're
to play video
streaming
games.
as content.
Like streaming on Twitch for like playing games I love to play with my friends because we laugh hard. And I'm like, people would love to see this. But then I just had people like in the thing being like, you're ignoring us. Why aren't you paying attention to us? And I'm like, because I'm playing video games with my friends. I thought you'd want to watch. But what they want is interaction. Like me going, oh, okay, let me mute them. Yeah, so, oh my God, Poughkeepsie was so fun last night. Like talk to them. And I was so bad at that. And I'm like, if my leisure is now more work, I can't do it. So I kind of cut that out. And I'm like, I need to have my alone time. I figured I was overextending myself as it was. So I figured out pretty quickly that I like to be private with some things. And I like my rest to be my rest. I don't want my rest to be also filmed and live streamed or whatever. But I've made some mistakes on stage. Like in San Francisco, I tried getting everyone to sing the Full House theme song at the end of the show.
That's amazing. It
It was the most embarrassing moment because I come out, no, the show was over. I went over my time too, so everyone's already tired. I had Josh Adam Myers, you know Josh Adam Myers?
Yeah.
He who opened my special and introduces me, but I had him opening the shows, doing live like music and all that stuff, and then I had Chappelle Lacey doing a set, and then me. And then at the end I go, listen, it's the last run of shows. We had a good weekend, boys. It's San Francisco. I want to do something at the end of my set. I'm going to bring you both back up here. I'm going to be like, it's San Francisco. You guys know the one song we got to play, you know, the Full House theme song. and everyone's gonna go nuts. So we go out there, and I go, on the count there, we're gonna play the song, guys. I think you're gonna love it. And it goes like, achoo, and I'm looking around, and I see people just going, "What the fuck is this?" And then Josh and I start going, "Whatever happened to predictability?" And Chappelle Lacey's behind us, no microphone, just going like this behind us, just going. And dude, I give him so much credit for not just going, "No, I'm off, no way," and he was so sweet about it. But I think even he was just like, just don't ever put that up anywhere.
Yeah,
I have the footage. I had so much fun on the San Francisco show. I refused to look at the footage that I paid for because I don't want to get to that part.
Yeah,
I know there were moments that I want to share, but I will never look at that footage because I'm such a fucking crazy guy about
funny.
that. Yeah, but I've taken chances. Yeah.
What? Where are you at with your next hour?
I'm at a good place with it. If I'm kind of like going through old stories, and like my wife brought this up where she was like, "What about these 3 like chunks you had about dating?" And I go, "Well, I'm married now." And she goes, "Talk about the past. Talk about why you love being married, how bad you were." And I go, "Oh my God." And so I was able to.
So she really, you have a dialogue where she can maybe help you with your, bounce ideas off her.
She's a muse. If she's the best. If I am like, she's more willing to talk about my career than I am.
Yeah.
I have to put a boundary on it sometimes where I go, I don't want to talk about my jokes. I don't want to talk about the interviews anymore. I don't want to talk about this anymore. And she'll go, okay, that's fine. But she's always pushing me in the best way to be myself. Like the one thing she always tells me before podcasts is, don't try and be funny. Just try and be yourself because you're so funny. Mm-hmm. And it's so true. Because I have such a problem with like being like in front of a mic. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's do this. Huh? Like I have a problem with that. And she's like, don't do that. Just be you, dude. There's a reason I married you. And she gives me a lot of confidence in me as a person. So I don't know. Wait, what was the question? I forgot. Just
if it seemed like you really bounce ideas off it, have that kind of an interest. That's
she's my unpaid
cool.
manager, dude. Like she's the amount that she does for me, the amount of emotional baggage she had to carry for me for my special taping while going through cancer treatment, I'll never forget. I could never do what she does for me for her. I could never. I'm not physically, I could never be there for her the way she is for me. It's insane how strong she is. And so there's a lot of, I don't think I make any decisions without at least like telling her about it. And she doesn't say approved. She'll just be like, that's a great idea. And I go, okay, cool. So, or she'll provide a.
Yeah. I don't know if we touch on it like exactly like, so did you, when you're dealing with her story, like, did you kind of talk with her about like, well, we have to talk, I got to talk about this. And like, how do you navigate that with your wife,
She trusts me. I don't think there's anything I could say that she'd be like, do not talk about that ever. There's literally nothing I could say that she said would she'd be upset that I was talking about it unless it wasn't funny. Then she'd be like, what? It's bombing. Don't do that. So no, she trusted me fully to say what I needed to say. I think she was aware of how I wanted to bring it up. It was very open dialogue where I said, I want to bring it up in a way. I didn't know where to bring it up in the special. I didn't know how to bring it up.
Yeah.
And I didn't know.
It's a difficult, hard turn.
It's a weird thing. I didn't know where to put it, how to get into it, or how to get out of it up until the special. Literally. I figured it out while taping the special, how I wanted to do it. No, I would say with the Wilbur, actually. Sorry. The Wilbur, the week before the special is where I figured it out.
Wow.
Live.
Wow.
Matt Salakis was doing a documentary for me.
Yeah. Oh.
And so he taped this all where I was in the green room.
Oh, that's a something you're working on now?
He's editing it. Yeah. We already got all the footage.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
your story together?
Yeah. Who, me and Sal?
Or you and Kate? Or
yeah. So it's literally the lead up to the special. So it's like, prior to the Wilbur, like us being like, we got it, we're getting ready for it. Him with us at the Wilbur the whole time. So me every day walking my dog, then going back and getting ready for the special, like one show that night at the Wilbur, and then doing the show. And we were in the green room midway through the week at the Wilbur. Like I think I did 8 shows midway, and I was just like, I don't know how to bring it up, man. And then he just candidly, we spoke. And he was recording. I'm glad he was, but he was like, I just told him straight up what I say in the special, which was that the hardest part for me was like not getting her to, like not making her laugh and all that stuff. And I just started crying and talking to him about it. And he goes, I don't want to cut you off, but that's it. say that. It's the honest truth as to what you struggled with. And if that comes out on stage, then what are you going to be mad at me for not making it funnier? You know, if it's a true moment in the special.
Yeah, there's a beauty to those moments.
I think so.
Special. It's really cool.
I think that was the Friday show, and that was the one that I feel like you catch me kind of tearing up talking about it on the special. And it was a thing where I'm glad that it happened the week before, what I figured out what I wanted to say. And then the way I said it was within 7 days, I said it. And only performing it a couple times that way. So it's a genuine
for
piece.
Capture. Yeah.
If I had been saying that sentence out loud for 6 months, and then on the special I go, and the hardest part, and then people would be like, "What the fuck? You cry every time you bring this up?" No, I didn't.
That's true.
I think it was the gravity of the show going so well, and me bringing that moment up and knowing that this is the moment I get to talk about how much I love her and how much it's affected me. All of that kind of hit me at once, and it kind of came through.
It was so cool you having her on stage at the end. That must have been like a crazy moment.
It was cool. So the funny thing is, she has a joke in it. Like she says something funny, but there's no context as to why I asked her that. Right. So the context was, I kind of fielded questions at the end of each special taping to be like, anybody have questions? I know you guys sat here for a while before the show started. I want to make sure you guys enjoy this. And they had me ask me questions, and one of them was like, what's the gayest thing you ever done? And then I like joked around with them, did some jokes, and then I brought Katie out and I go, you have any questions for Katie? Hey Katie, what's the gayest thing you ever done? She goes, you. And I know this for a fact, people are gonna be like, you guys planned that. No, we cannot. The one time we tried to plan something, it was so bad. Like it was so obvious her and I are not good actors that I go, we're never doing a pre-planned, what the heck did you just say? Like, I can't do that. So it was genuine. When I ran away laughing and then high-fived her, that's me. That's us in our home. She'll laugh. She'll make me laugh so hard sometimes. I'll walk up and be like, bro, and like just high-five her. And she gets excited about that. Like it's, yeah. So that was a genuine moment. I loved that moment. And then I also brought my whole family on stage at one point at the end, which was really exciting. Like it was so cool. The amount of support and love I get from the people that are closest to me are like, it's unmatched, dude.
What is your takeaway from going through so much emotionally in such a compressed amount of time, so much like depth of life experience, you know, with this whole situation or multiple situations surrounding Katie and IVF and all this stuff?
I've learned that I'm capable more than I thought I was. Like looking back on it on paper, I don't know how I did what I did. Like not saying I did because she went through a lot more, obviously, but in terms of my schedule and everything that I did, I'm proud of myself for not flinching at it, for just going, this is because that's really what happens in life, is that life throws you a curveball. You don't go, I shouldn't have to deal with this. You go, fuck, how do we deal with this? How do we handle this? Your car flip, whatever happens, your car breaks down. You don't go, oh man, if my car wasn't broken down, I'd probably be there by now. No, you just adjust to the new reality. And so I just adjusted to it. And I would say the thing I learned the most is to give myself more space to grow as a comedian and more breaks. Because if I'm exhausted and I'm tired and I don't want to be there, it comes out.
Seems like a real pitfall for comics. If you don't if it's just this machine that keeps running, where is the space and the room for reflection and, you know, the good stuff?
100%. If especially for a comic like me who is a lot of the show's vibes is crowd work, is like, if I dip into if I'm in a pissy mood and I do crowd work, it's so obvious because I'm just like, ugh, like I get short with people and I go, I fucking hate that. And it's because I had a show in another state the night before and I had to spend 7 hours on a plane today, and then I get off and do sound check and get on stage. I'm pissed. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I shouldn't have to do that. So now I don't do that. Now I would rather take that night off the next day than try and squeeze in another show. Now I take at least a couple days off a week from comedy, 1 or 2 days off a week, to just be a human being, and to go out on a date with my wife and live my life and go to the park with my dog and not have to worry about a show that night hanging over my head. And that's when I found I am most excited for comedy, is when I like I have shows tonight and I'm so fucking excited because I haven't been on stage since I went on vacation a week and a half ago, and I'm fucking losing my mind. And I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna try and get one new joke out that I wrote about the cruise or whatever. And if that joke works, dude, I'm going to sleep like a baby. I'm going to be high on life, you know, because I got one 7-second joke out tonight. You know, I never want to get to the point where I don't love doing comedy. And I've gotten close. I've gotten real close on the tour in Europe.
Yeah.
I had a border patrol between Cyprus and Greece saying, with guns pointed at us, saying, why are you coming from occupied territory? Why are you coming from occupied territory? And I'm like,
wow.
I just want to talk about pooping on stage, dude. I don't want this, you know? There's so much about traveling for comedy that I don't like, you know, but I love comedy. I love people. Mm-hmm. So that's why I do it, is I do it for the crowds. I fucking love making crowds laugh. It's so fun, man.
So how's Katie doing?
Awesome. She's doing so great. She's so strong in bad news that she does like what I said, where she doesn't take the bad news and goes, well, what if it wasn't bad news? She takes the bad news and pivots to whatever he needed to do to take care of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. She couldn't do this without her. Mm-hmm. You know, if that makes sense. I couldn't do this without her. She's such a rock for herself and for me that if this were to happen to me, I would need her as much as she needed her. Mm-hmm. You know, she's just where things are still developing. We're still figuring out like her cocktail of medicine because, you know, it's a rocky road and we're just trying to get to the highway, you know, to where we're just, okay, here's our consistent every 3 months we get checked, you know, right now it's every month and we're figuring out liver labs and things like that. Yeah. But we're hoping to get to the point where, okay, see you in 3 months and we can adjust. But even so, we're going to, my nephew's getting baptized and we're going to visit my family and she needs an injection at the time we need to visit. So we're adjusting. We're going to go, okay, we're going to leave a little bit later and get this and it's fine. Wow. Like none of us have fucking this. I wish we didn't have to deal with this. Like
that's hard to, just be willing to you got just acceptance of.
It's compromise every day, all day. Yeah. All day, every day. And that's what you're saying. From your perspective, you'd be like, fuck, that's hard to do that by itself. But now I have to do this. But in my head, I'm like, there's no alternative. Yeah. This is our reality. So I'm not going to get caught up in complaining about it or being like upset about it. I'm just going to be like, this is what we have to do. Yeah. You know, it's not a big deal. I mean, it is, but it's, you know,
you talked about like wanting to maintain intimacy in your show. At the same time, there's always, it seems like a pressure to go up, you know, at least on the industry side. And you could do that. Like you get to the place where you could play arenas, I would guess. So, yeah. So are you going to do that? Like, are you?
The closest I've got is the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival that we have coming up this summer. That they fill their audience. So I'm not having to watch ticket counts. They give you a flat rate and they go, here, the audiences will come. You'll do the daytime show for the most amount of people I ever performed for. It was an outdoor show for like 6,000 plus people. And it was fun. It was actually pretty fun. It's hard to say no to those things. Hey, you want to do this theater? Like this iconic theater where Frank Sinatra performed. Like, yes, I want to do it. And of course I want to do it. But I also know now that they're always going to push you to do more. That's their job. So it's a matter of finding that balance of like for example, my agent's awesome. She's more of a friend than an agent. So that when she calls me and says, you know, like we're doing a bus tour next year, that I'm fucking pumped for. I've never done a tour bus before. Mm-hmm. And so I know I'm going to either love it or hate it. But I hated my least favorite thing about the touring is that if I'm on the road with my buddies and we're all in different hotel rooms and it's 11 o'clock at night, we all go back. We'll sometimes hang out in the same room, but you know, we're not getting big rooms. So it's just two of us on a bed, one of us on the desk, and it looks like we're about to have a threesome. And it's just one of those things where we all end up going back to our rooms. And I kind of want it to be this like slumber party tour bus kind of vibe where we go back on the tour bus, we hang out, play video games awesome. The next. Yeah. So my agent sent me a list of dates and then I sent her a list of venues and she sends me pictures of the venues now too. And I go, no. I don't want to do that one. That one doesn't look fun. And she'll go, okay, we'll do this one then. Like, we'll adjust. Or I'll say, I want a bigger break in this time. I want to take 2 weeks off at this moment. Yeah. I'm learning that if I say, yeah, do whatever, they're going to be like, cool, I assume you want to work as much as possible. In reality, I just need to tell them, like, set my boundaries, and they very much respect it. But unless you put those boundaries up there, they don't know what boundaries are.
Just with everything in life.
Yes. Yeah. So I figured that out, and we're coming to a good place now where I'm not doing any shows going, fuck, I have another one tomorrow. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going, no, I'm going to go home and I'll do this one next weekend. You know?
What is the vision for you now? Like, what do you want for your career from here?
You know, I do want to branch out more, obviously. Like voiceover stuff is more tantalizing to me than acting stuff, but I also love improvising acting. I know I can do that and all that stuff. So I'm kind of figuring that out, but I've only had a few meetings where they've said this, and it's true, where some places you have a meeting with them and they're like, yeah, you know, we'd love to get you to be an actor on this show, but it's 2 weeks of blocked booking and you can make 5 times that in your
that's
comedy.
Always the trade-off. It's difficult.
I didn't start doing comedy to be a voiceover actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people start doing other things and then they land on comedy as like a backup.
Yeah.
And my thing is, no, man, this is what I started doing, what I want to do, and now I'm finally doing it. And every manager and agent I talked to before, the ones I landed on, didn't get that. They go, okay, but then what's next?
I feel like that's most stand-ups today, actually. Like, it's much more oriented towards stand-up first for a lot of people.
Should be.
Yeah.
It's doing better than your shows, you know? Like a lot of these shows are
that's the funny thing.
Getting one season and then they're done. And then now you're stuck with no residuals because it was a streaming service. It's nuts. So that's why I'm just like, I love doing what I'm doing. So I'm happy with this, but I do want to branch out. My dream is to make my own video game, is to do a voice in my own video game, is to like do a lot of things like that. And all I'm doing is just facilitating a non-money making. Like that's going to be a hobby of mine, like streaming. I'm not going to go into video game streaming. I'm going to try and stream starting next month. I'm getting all the equipment set up right now, but I'm going into it as a money losing situation because that's how you get fans. Is I'm not posting, like my social media was all free. Right. My YouTube videos I put up were non-monetized because I don't
think about that first and foremost.
What?
The money or whatever.
You cannot.
Results. Yeah.
Once money comes into the picture, you're not going to like. It's like Facebook, the social thing where he's like, we put ads on there, we're done. It's not going to be cool anymore. Yeah. And so I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want to be a guy going, and don't forget, guys, type in JEFF on DraftKings.com or whatever. I don't know if you guys have that sponsor, but I think alcohol and gambling sponsors are that's another thing I don't like. And I would. The day I quit comedy is the day that I go, and don't forget, buy this whiskey. And don't forget, gamble your money. Like that is, I don't know why I wouldn't look at the camera. I'm looking at probably because I didn't want it to be real. But I just don't want to get to that point. That's literally money first is when you're doing that type of stuff. So if I had a podcast, it would not be paywalled. If I I don't and I won't. But like a lot of that stuff, you have to go into it with a heart first, like of wanting to do it, and then the fans will follow, dude. And I think that resonates. I think they know that I don't post to make money on them. I post so that they can maybe come see me live, and then I give them a show in person and meet them if I can, which sucks. I had to stop doing meet and greets.
Why?
Well, it started because I was getting sick a lot, and I had other comics reach out to me.
Encountering so many people.
Yeah, and I was posting the pictures, doing all that stuff, but I was shaking so many hands and hugging so many people that I was getting like very sick. That's very brutal. Sick for like 3 days, at least once a month.
Wow.
And now I don't get sick at all. But
that's such an interesting problem.
That was the start. But then once my wife got sick, I was like, I am completely done with meet and greets. I'm not bringing, because if she gets sick, she's sick for like 2 weeks. So I'm like, I'm not bringing home, Mike's cold from Milwaukee, And that was actually the day that I stopped, was prior to her getting sick. It was, I forget where I was, but the guy shook my hand. We took a photo. He's like, can we shake a hand, take a photo of this? Puts his arm in. He goes, brother, I have COVID and I still made it out to your show. And I go,
God,
what the fuck?
I don't understand when people say that.
Why would you do that? And then I got COVID when I got home.
They say it with
I was sick for a week. I was like, I'm done. My manager was like, thank you. Please stop doing, because I wouldn't, that was the thing, is they were like, or we can charge. I'm not going to charge. I'm not charging somebody to shake my hand.
That was one thing I wanted to ask, like, what is the most ridiculous business proposition that's come to you now that you're like in success? Has there been anything like ridiculous? I mean, you're probably, I imagine your approach for like brand whatever. And...
Sure. I've had some of those like hit me up and then I just send them an insane number back. where they're like, we want to take your page, this and that. I go, okay, cool. It's $4 million. And they're like, can we negotiate? And I go, $3 million. And I'll just mess with them. Like, no, I'm not putting your Shein brand on my thing or whatever. Like, that's the other thing too, is I didn't want my page. If you look at my Instagram or my Facebook or whatever, it's not a lot of photos of me being like, what's up, guys? Hey, I'm over here. It's just my product. It's just my stand-up clips, because that's the only way I can be consistent, because there are months. We all have days or weeks or months in our lives where we're like, I don't want to be online.
Yep.
I don't want to be responsible for, where's Jeff? I haven't seen him online in 2 days. I don't want to worry about that. I'm going to go do my thing. And then I'll post when I post. Like, that's, I like keeping that boundary there. Always.
Yeah. Last thing, lightning round. I'm going to add an element for you because you're clearly a gamer. Like,
hell yeah, dude.
So, it is one comic you want to recommend, like someone on the newer side that people might not be exposed to yet. One album or artist, one book, and one game.
Oh,
just like that you want. That's on your mind. They've been something you've been playing or whatever. You know.
Okay. Let's do it.
So one comic. Who do you got?
So there's a few. I mean, Ryan Hamilton just dropped a special. I love watching him at the Cellar all the time. Good. He's such a sweet guy. Has a very like great mindset on things. One comic I want to. My openers, Matt Backus and Jeff Sheen, are so funny. But I really want to. I'm just thinking about a comic. I mean, let's go Jordan. You know who I often reference is Jordan Jensen. She's not amazing. Even for her as specifically as her a written material comedian, but as a person, she is who I aspire to be in terms of unabashed being herself. Unflinchingly, even when you say the dumb shit, you double down and go, oh yeah, I fucked up. I said something wrong. But you weren't afraid to say that thing wrong in the first place.
Yep.
I respect that. I'm sometimes too calculated with my perception.
Sure.
And I don't like that. So I respect that. I got to give it to her as a comedian, that if I ever wanted to do something, she'd be one of the first people I call, because I know that if it sucked, she'd be like, this sucks. She's the first person I sent my special to.
Yeah.
And gave me the confidence to watch it, because I started watching it and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And she goes, this is good. And she was watching it and it was like, it made me feel great. So I got to give her that credit.
That's great.
What's the next one?
Book.
I just, last book I fully read was Project Hail Mary.
Okay.
Loved it. Saw the movie.
Yeah.
Didn't love it.
Really?
Didn't love it. I was a little annoyed. My wife is the sweetest woman in the world. She got me pre-screening tickets, like the influencer tickets.
Yeah.
And I was hyped, but it's a New York City movie theater. And she goes, it's the 4DX experience. And I go, whatever, that sounds expensive. We get there. It's the fucking Universal Studio seats.
You're rumbling around.
Where they rumble, blow air, and shoot water at you.
I've never done that.
And I'm sitting there. I go, you know what? Let's try something new, Jeff. You know? And we're sitting there. Yeah, it's like, it's weird, dude, the way it's set up. And then as we're sitting there, previews come on. And the sheet, like, they wiggle. They go, oh, shit, the seats move pretty rough. Mario comes on. Preview for Mario. And he goes, whoa, and comes out of the thing. The seats, all of them malfunction. They start flailing around. Something goes flying behind us. I go, what the fuck? The air and water is blowing in our face. Like, Mario went like this once, and now the seats are freaking out. All of a sudden, the lights go up, and a kid with a walkie-talkie just goes, he goes, I don't know. He's talking to somebody, and then he grabs the seat, and he goes, it flew off, Michael. And I go, we're out of here. I go outside and I go, I don't want to do that shit. Like the teachers, long story short, I go, they go, we get you tickets to a different theater, like a different room without the moving seats. I go, thank you. I walk back in. There's like 25 other people there. We're all kind of reeling from that experience. But I go, in a Jerry Maguire moment, I go, guys, I don't know about you. This seems horrible. There's plenty of seats. There's another theater without the 4DX shit. They're willing to switch it if you guys want to switch. We're going to take off and we're switching. Not a single person got up.
They loved it.
I thought I was the coolest guy. Like, hey, I worked it out with the theater guys. We can get out of here. And they're all like, have fun. And the movie was starting.
That seems like for the stage.
I might do that. Hilarious. That's funny. Yeah. That's the good of podcasting, right?
Yeah.
But I loved the book. It was so fun. It was the same author as The Martian, which is a great movie. But they skipped over the mundane parts, so I didn't like the movie as much. But the book was amazing, and I'm reading Dungeon Crawler Carl right now because I love video games. And that game, it's like a perfect mix of fiction and video games. It's a fun read.
Game?
Game, I gotta push out Slay the Spire 2.
Okay.
It's a little bit. It's just what I'm obsessively playing right now on my laptop. It's a card building, deck building game.
Cool.
GTA 6. Cannot wait. I'm gonna be freaking like. I took time off my schedule for that.
I'm not like big into video. Is that coming? Because people always make these.
Fuck up.
Is that make people are always making these jokes? That's like a recurring thing on.
Oh, we're getting this before GTA 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fully confirmed. Like, dude, people pre-bought it already. It's the November.
Those are fun.
November, it's coming out. It's gonna be. That's why I'm streaming. Because if you are in the entertainment space and you're not streaming Grand Theft Auto, you are leaving so much on the table. Not money, just. What if you're the first person to discover this secret in a game, the biggest piece of multimedia, it's made over $10 billion, Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, if you're, I don't know, whatever. There's a lot of things to do. So there's that. And then I up until recently was obsessively like hundreds of hours into Arc Raiders.
Okay.
Which is like, I love a competitive shooter, but I also love the social element. So when I start streaming, I'm going to streaming Arc Raiders. I'm going to be streaming social like friend slop games. I think a lot of the time.
That's a new term for me.
Oh, friend slop?
Yeah.
Have you heard of it before me? It's a new term, and I think it's going to save gaming.
Okay.
It's games where, like you've seen the new one where people are painting each other into walls. Mecha Chameleon is called. There's a lot of games where it's more designed. The fun is based on the people playing it more so. Than it is. It's like party games basically.
Oh yeah,
but they call them friend slop, where it's like you and 3 friends play this game where you are gnomes trying to burgle a house. On paper, you'd be like, that sucks. Well, you know, I can't. This isn't going to be fun. Yeah, if you're playing with 4 gamers that don't talk, it's going to be a boring game.
Yeah.
But if you're playing where you're like, you know, messing with each other, and that's what friend slop is, in my opinion. And I'm here for it.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, do it.
Lasting album
Or
an artist, like a musical artist that's
like, music or comedy?
Music, like someone you're playing on repeat, or you know.
Shout out to Moon Hooch, who did my did you notice the intro music for the special?
I have to think back.
You have to say yes right now.
Yeah. Oh, the jazz.
Yeah, I paid for it.
Jazz.
Yeah.
Well, yes. Yeah, it was cool. It was a swaggy intro.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was the original one that the editor put in was very like AI, not AI, but very like like very like sitcom intro.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love horns, man. I love brass, but I just want it to be from an artist I can kind of promote. Moon Hooch is a 3-piece instrumental band. They were like out of New York City in 2012. They're now all over the place, but they're so good. I love they're very talented. I wouldn't be able to knock down a specific album per se.
That works.
But my hype album is like Cheshire Cat, Blink-182, old Blink, where it's just fast drums, barely hear the vocals. Talk to you every now and then. You're like, oh yeah, dude, that's my running music.
It's the best.
Which my wife is very good friends with Tom DeLonge. She came to a show in San Diego, dude, and we had to seat him after the show started. Otherwise, imagine you're sitting down and Tom DeLonge sits down next to you to see a crowd work comedian. You'd be like, what?
You don't want to see him come in, right?
No,
like, that would mess
he
with
was
you.
so chill, so nice, man. I'll never forget. He's like, you're great at your craft. Like shook my hand, like such a sweet guy. But that made me be like, I'll always listen to Blink-182 to get ready for my shows now.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, it's been so fun talking to you.
Likewise,
Thank you
man.
for coming in.
Thank you.